They're all different. None of them are the same. They all program differently. Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to the southern wing of the Stink Bug Works. I have just demonstrated the startup sequence for this speed control. The startup sequence for this speed control is nowhere near similar to the startup sequence for that speed control. So, when you're putting speed controls in your boat, look at the instructions. Calibrate the throttle. Oh, it's a pain in the neck. Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to the southern wing of the Stink Bug Works. I don't have a whole lot for you today. Yesterday, I spent a lot of time straightening up the Stink Bug Works. I put a new carburetor on my generator. I ran some errands. So I didn't have much time to work on boats. Today, let me share a little insight of the kind of work I do and the kind of obstacles I come across. A client, a potential client, has contacted me. He bought 14 acres right next to Lawrence Welk's village. Now, in the 70s and 80s, I did a bunch of work for Lawrence Welk and the Teleclue. That's television and Welk's spelled backwards. The Teleclue organization, Ted Lennon and the Lennon sisters and those guys. And there was some development down on the Welk village there in the golf course. But the main thing we did is there was 300 and some odd acres up on top, and we subdivided that. We put in this fancy pump sewer, and we built roads going down the hill with no permits, 17% with a hairpin at the end. Think of this. Here's a road a quarter mile long at 17%, and there's a hairpin turn, and if you don't make the turn, you go off the cliff. Built entirely without permits. But I digress. So this guy bought this 14 acres right next to Lawrence Welk. The problem is there's a gorgeous building site up above Welk's village. It's terrific. But there's a little strip of land, maybe 100 feet, 200 feet wide, that connects his building site on this 14 acres down to Champaign Boulevard, which used to be the old highway, and that's his access, his legal access. To get from Champaign Boulevard to his building site, you first have to cross remember we're in California, a sensitive habitat stream. Just think cubic dollars. And then you have to climb roughly 1,000 feet in elevation on a piece of property that's 100 feet wide and probably close to, it might be over 100% slope, which is a 45-degree angle. It might be steeper than 100%. Might be 150% slope. It's steep. Oh, and it's rocky. And I'm talking, I'm not talking rocks the size of Volkswagens. I'm talking rocks the size of SpaceX. So this guy he bought this piece of property. He's got more money than since he bought this piece of property. Now he's going to build his dream home up there. And what do you mean it's going to be $500 million to build a road from here to there? You know, these people buy land and they don't know what they're getting into. They just have all this money and think, oh, what a great building site. So I'm going to meet this guy out there this morning, and before I give him advice, he'll give me a check, and then I'll give him the advice. I don't know how he's going to do it. There's actually a way to do it. There's a couple of pieces of property up on top. He could buy those pieces of property and access his building site through there, grant or withhold an easement, and then sell those properties. That's the only way I could see it working. But this is going to be a challenging project. I see helicopter rides in my future. This little guy here. This little guy. I did do one thing on him. I did put the little strut in here. What I did is I filed a notch here at a 45. And then, where's my pointer? Then from here over to here is kind of a straight line. So there's a bit of this support in the hull. I didn't go quite through. He's actually got a lot of meat here on this transom, so it does not need any reinforcing. It's there right now. So I'm waiting on hollow bolts so that I might mount my rudder and complete things up and such. So for now, this thing's gonna set aside, and I have a dilemma. Maybe one of you can help me. There's an idea. When my little green boat, the Cobra 450, when I had the issue with the motor wires, I figured the motor was trash, when I looked at it at first. And so I ordered a new motor. And I didn't pay any attention to shaft size. And when this arrived, the shaft was larger. And it's like, oh, I got to fit another coupler. Got to go dig through the parts bin. It'd be just as easy to fix that other motor. So I fixed the other motor. And now I have what would be a really good 3S motor in something that's 17, 18 inches long, maybe under 20 inches. And I just don't know what to do with it. Maybe I should trade it for something. Maybe I should put it in something. But what? There's nothing out on the market that really floats my boat right now, so to speak. I mean, I appreciate big. Big is cool. Big is really cool, but this won't power big. So that has to be something small, and I just don't know where I should put it. Any of you guys got an idea? Maybe a trade? Or a future build that you'd like to see? We could do anything with it. We could do some sort of geared thing. I don't know. I have all these possibilities. I have all these tools. I do have a milling machine and a lathe, so I can create parts. What I'd really like is a 3D printer, but I have other things to deal with. For 3D parts, I'll just find somebody with a 3D printer and say, oh, please, would you print this out for me? Okay, so there you go. Status update on the Jetster. I've been rambling on and jacking my jaws, and I've said nothing. It's just another day here at the Stink Bug Works. Until next time, boys and girls, jet out.